Hi, I'm Jamie Cohen with Cohen and Broche Law Offices. I want to talk to you today about investment visas to the United States. Investment visas are known as the E-2 visa, predominantly anyway. And now whether or not you are eligible for an E-2 visa depends upon where you live, or in other words, what country you're from. Because the United States, to offer the E-2 visas, the United States must have a treaty between your country and the U.S. So for instance, in Israel was recently granted the authority to be able to provide E-2 visas. So Israelis now for the first time have that opportunity. Many countries around the world that don't have that opportunity, but there are many that do. Like for instance, most of the European countries, citizens of European countries, do have E-2 opportunities to be able to go to the U.S. Or if you are a citizen of a different country, but you also happen to have citizenship, let's say with a European country, or you and they have a treaty with the United States for the E-2, you can go to the U.S. for the investment. So what is this E-2 visa? Basically, the idea is that if you are willing to invest probably at least $100,000 into a U.S. business that you either have formed or you've bought, then you and your family can travel to the United States and live and work in the U.S. That's the essential deal. The E-2 it's fairly complicated. There's a lot of documentation that's required. But for instance, let's give an example. Let's start with somebody who, you want to start a business in the U.S. Let's say you want to open a restaurant, or you want to open some kind of shop in a mall, or whatever, or even a consulting firm. It doesn't really matter that much as long as it's a commercial business. So you think, okay, I want this opportunity to go to the U.S. What do I need to do? Well, first of all, first step is you have to open the business in the United States. So that means forming what's called an LLC, which is a limited liability company or a corporation in the U.S. in one of the states. Open up a bank account, rent space, transfer the $100,000 into the bank account, and basically have a plan to open the business. So what does that mean? Having a plan, it means that you either have opened the business. Let's say you've started the business, you hired some other people to get the business started, and now you have actual revenue coming in, which of course is the best case scenario. Or you just have plans to essentially open the business, and you have a substantial business plan, a 5-year business plan that shows how you're going to run the business, how you're going to hire American workers, and so on. And then you essentially we put together a package for you, and we submit it to the embassy of the country in which you are from. That's the gist of how it works. Now, what are the advantages of the E-2? First of all, unlike most of the other visas, there's no real expiration date for the E-2 visa. You will be given a visa for a certain time period, but it's automatically renewable as long as the business continues to run and operate. So therefore, let's say for example, you're opening up a restaurant in the U.S. and you invest the money and you get your E-2 visa. Let's say they give it to you for 5 years initially, and the restaurant opens up. Again, after the 5 years, as long as the restaurant's operating, you just reapply, you get the visa again, and it just keeps going. So there's no end date, so to speak, like there is with almost all other temporary visas, business visas to the United States. The big advantage to the E-2, though, is for the spouse of the E-2 investor, because the spouse can also work in the United States, but is not limited to working in the company in which the investment was made. So that spouse can go work anywhere and essentially do whatever they want to do. So it's a great opportunity. Children also get E-2 visas. They can't work, but they can go to school. So there's a great opportunity for the entire family. Now, one of the questions that often comes up is, can I transfer my E-2 into a green card, which means can I permanently reside in the U.S.? And the answer is generally, under certain limited circumstances, the answer is yes. But generally, it's not what's called a convertible visa. It's not a visa that naturally flows into a green card. However, If the spouse is working for another employer and that spouse wants to hire that employer, that employer wants to hire that spouse permanently, then they can apply for the green card for the spouse, and the whole family gets green cards, and then the issue is resolved. So that's very simple. Last thing I want to mention about the E2 is that one of the advantages, we're located in Israel, and so if, for instance, you are an Israeli that is applying for an E2 visa, it's a tremendous advantage to have the lawyers that in the same country with you. Why do I say that? Because there's going to be a very intensive interview at the embassy, no matter what country you're from. And if your lawyers are present in that country, then they're permitted to attend that interview and help you through the interview process, because it can be pretty intensive. So we encourage you that if you're considering an E2 visa, really from anywhere, but also certainly from Israel, that you will look into contacting us. You can look at our webpage below for more information, contact us, or look into more information, and we're happy to provide services for you for the E2 investment visa. This is Cohen and Brosh Law Offices. Thank you very much.